that is, from your perspective, the kind of information that you have relative to this disease. What is AIDS, and why the tremendous impact that it's having on the American health system and the whole thing? What is
well,
this?
first of all, we need to talk about HIV, which is the human immunodeficiency virus, and that is what leads a person to later develop into, as Ron says, full-blown AIDS. Once the virus enters the immune system, that system which we have been created with to help combat disease, it acts as a real stealth bomber, because it invades the healthy cells and then encodes it with its own HIV message and has that healthy cell thinking that it itself is HIV. It becomes HIV, then the new virions are then given birth throughout the body. Once the presence of opportunistic infections such as Kaposi sarcoma or pneumocystis pneumonia, or with women, recurrent vaginal candidiasis or cervical cancer, or a CD4 count of below 200, then you move to the category of AIDS, which is acquired immune deficiency syndrome. I think one thing that is important, especially for people of color, is in looking at the terms, you see that it's human, so you don't get it from a mosquito or a monkey or some of the other things that, you know, are promoted as possible origins of the disease, and it's also acquired.
I wanted you to explain that.
Yeah, it's acquired, meaning you have to do something to get it. It's not going to leap out and jump on you while you're walking down the street using the restroom facility at the swimming pool or hugging a friend. You have to have actual exchange of body fluids. Those body fluids are blood, semen, and vaginal secretion in order to become at risk for being infected.
And so it's a behavioral disease as well as a health problem.
Yes.
And if people could better check their behavior, then perhaps they could we could better deal with this as a national disease. What do you say about that, Mr. Crowder?
I agree wholeheartedly. It's at Project COPE, that's the way we counsel. We do risk reduction counseling. We assess a person's risk, and then we start working on them changing that particular behavior in order to reduce their risk of becoming HIV. And one of the things I tell people, it's not who you are, it's what you do that puts you at risk for HIV.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, even after a person becomes infected, and I think African Americans more so than any other population, is that they totally shut down, go in denial, and seems like they can't talk to anybody about it, and what they're actually doing is wreaking havoc upon themselves, because once they find out they're infected, then they don't want to go to the doctor to seek medical care. And now with the newer treatments and all the advances that they've made in HIV treatment these days, you know, it's almost now chronic illness. This is
like asthma or diabetes.
Right.
Well, now I think, SDennie, as a person who's interested in behavior, why this out-and-out denial? And is that peculiar among African? I mean, I don't want to raise this. I got only a minute. But is that peculiar among African Americans?
It's not genetically inherent, but we do have some societal issues with the history of the way African Americans and our system of justice and health has impacted our communities. When you think of the notorious Tuskegee experiment, and how that impacted public health policy, how it impacted the perceptions of community people regarding health care. The notion of HIV being something that is associated with genocide becomes easy to accept, especially if other people of color, you know, Latinos and sometimes Asians, along with African Americans, have had negative dealings with institutions and systems of our society.
Very good. Let's, Ms. Denny, let us take this first commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about other aspects of this problem. And we'll be back with you following